What is up? My favorite co-host on the planet, Hannah Vaughn. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you too.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing good, actually. I was having a rough couple weeks. I think I'm getting past the slump now. I feel my mood going up. Um, Interesting enough, I
Okay.
did see a psychiatrist and I got a diagnosis.
Okay.
So
Do you want to share it?
I think it's okay to share, and
Sure. It's your diagnosis.
I hope no one thinks differently of me.
I'm gonna quit the show.
So I've been diagnosed with bipolar 2. So it's
Really?
like the less extreme version of bipolar.
Wow.
But
Okay.
as she talked about it, it made so much sense because I was just describing how my mood just kind of like is just always like this. Like I like 1 minute I can be on top of the world, super happy, super goofy, and then the next minute I could be sitting here you know what? Trigger warning. I could be sitting here depressed, not wanting to be here. So it does go uh, all over the place. So
Wow.
fortunately, she has a medication recommendation, which I'll be starting once the script is in. And yeah, I'm excited because now I can understand myself better. It makes sense. I get why I'm all over the place sometimes because I am really all over the place emotionally, especially these past few weeks. But like I said,
It's like you've been
uh,
in a down kind of.
yeah, I feel like I'm going on I'm getting back up again. Um, Interestingly enough, now this is directly from my psychiatrist. I'm not a medical professional and I have not verified this. Allegedly, people with bipolar should apparently, at least as she said to me, not be smoking things with high THC or THC at all because it can negatively impact the mood.
Really?
I have noticed that in the past actually few months, I switched to vape cartridges with higher THC, and I've noticed it actually affects my mood more than flower or than RSO. So I'm like, maybe there is something to it.
That's
Um,
really interesting. I didn't know that. I have some people in my life who are close to me with bipolar too. Um, but I don't know how weed affects them. I haven't asked, but that's really interesting, and I
Mhm.
appreciate you sharing that with us because it's always good to learn about yourselves. And I encourage everyone to talk to a professional if they feel like they need to. I think it's good to learn about yourself.
It is, and it's for me. I think it's just going to give me better ways to cope and understand and process what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy you got answers. I mean,
Me
that's
too.
I don't think of you any differently, obviously. That'd be
And
silly.
I had one disagreement with her, but I'm not I as much as I want to talk about it, I don't know enough to be like I'm going to disagree with a doctor or go talk about it because I'm not a doctor, so I'm just going to shut my mouth. But
Well, doctors
uh,
can kind of be like, well, from what I've seen, this happens, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to apply to you. I mean, but
right.
I don't know. I'm really curious what that was, but we can always discuss it off
We'll
air.
talk about it off the air,
Yeah.
or we can talk about it in the actually, you know what? We can talk about it in the Discord after the show.
Yeah. That's so funny. I have been like, I've had a lot of diagnoses thrown at me, quite a few. So like I have my confirmed ones, but it's always been like in like the notes, like could be bipolar. If bipolar spectrum exists, she would be on it. But
Well,
not confirmed.
ADHD
Yeah.
and bipolar have a lot of overlapping symptoms.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm realizing I don't think I'm bipolar just from I'm close to people who are bipolar, and I just don't think that's me. Not saying like, oh, I couldn't have that. I think that most of my issues stem from ADHD. I realized some
right.
crazy things about me recently. I think I even tweeted. Um, I'm noticing that I feel more in control of my ADHD, and I've been so comfortable being unmedicated because I have a lot of like quick dopamine fixes that I rely on. Like that would explain like I binge eat very often. My on and
Same.
off my on and off struggle with nicotine, and like
Ooh,
how addiction kind of plays into people who have ADHD. It's like, yeah, I'm addicted to nicotine, but I think it's the biggest dependency is like the fact that I need like a quick dopamine fix. And I feel like I'm always like, oh, like I have ADHD, but like I don't have a problem focusing. Well, I've always been in really high stimulating environments, or I've been like on and off with like nicotine stuff and eating a lot of snacks. You know, I have a lot of like habits that are like quick dopamine fixes, and that's what helps me focus if I'm like not in a really high stimulating environment. I mean, working in a preschool, that was really good for me because it's constant stimulation and like, whoa. So I'm like realizing now working from home, like I've been having a really hard time with like nicotine. And yeah, I mean, it's okay. But I'm like, I think it's time for me to go back in and think about getting back on meds, because like I would rather trade a bad habit for like, you know, like my partner was literally just saying, like, wouldn't that just be trading like one thing for another? I'm like, okay, well, one thing is healthy and the other isn't. So like, that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's just kind of like, here's some dopamine and I can just like not feel like I need to reach for it constantly, because that's what ADHD is. You're just constantly like, I need dopamine now. Like, okay, cool, I got it. And then you can kind of focus for a second. And then you're like, where can I get dopamine now? And
Yep.
That's what it is.
Exactly how it feels.
Once I realized that, I was able to understand how my brain works so much better. And I wish I understood that a long time ago, because it's like, I'm not bad at focusing. I really can. I really do have good self-discipline, but it's like a constant struggle. Just, it's like being thirsty for dopamine, you know? And if I have
that, I way to describe it.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested in something, oh man, it's impossible to stay focused on it.
I want to care about so many things that are important, but my brain just
doesn't.
It's like, sorry, this is not serving you dopamine wise, so you're not going to take an interest in it. And I'm like, fuck.
Yes.
Which is why it's so hard for me.
The real quick, the topic for the show
is not this.
It's not this, but I just real quick want to say it's, you know, dealing with friend breakups, because losing a friend can be just as difficult as losing a partner. And it's an important, you know, thing to talk about. So if you would like to share a story or call in and talk about how best, or any advice you have on how best to deal with friend breakups, give us a call, 951-364-2430.
I would expand on that really quick after you read Ameet's comment.
Did you go to the psychiatrist, or do you go to a psychiatrist or therapist for a diagnosis? I went to a psychiatrist. I do not know whether or not therapists can give diagnoses. So unfortunately,
I actually don't either, because I've only ever been I've gone to therapists and psychiatrists, but I've only gotten diagnosed by psychiatrists. I know that therapists help you like where you're at with the and help you kind of get tools, but like psychiatrists can be like, hey, here's what your brain is doing. Let's see if we can like fix it on a chemical level. I mean, I've talked to therapists too who are kind of more into like cognitive behavioral therapy and stuff, but I don't know. I've gone to both.
I need therapy, like full transparency. I know there are many traumas I need to sit down and work through. But one step at a time. Start with a psychiatrist. See, I've had a couple therapists in the past, and it just either maybe I just haven't found the right one.
It's hard to find the right therapist. I've had one I really didn't like. I really, really didn't like. I don't know how to explain it. It just, he would say things and I would just be like, you have your own issues, dude. Like, and I had one I really liked. So I don't know. I don't really know how to like explain the difference. I hope I did an okay job. Like therapists kind of help you with like tools and like behavior wise, and like give you homework for like things to work on with yourself. And psychiatrists will be like, here's what's wrong with you. Let's deal with it on a chemical level, but not always. So that's just my experience.
Are you drinking a Red Bull at 9 o'clock at night? I've
actually been drinking this whole Red Bull all day.
Damn.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't really need much, but like this has lasted me all day because I don't go through them very fast.
I wouldn't be able to go to sleep if I was drinking a Red Bull this late, even part of it.
It's fine. I was gonna expand on the friend breakup thing because that is our topic. if you guys want to call in and tell like a breakup, like a friend breakup story, if you've broken up with a friend or a friend has broken up with you, or if you want to discuss like when you think friends should call it off or when you should distance yourself and boundaries and all that, like go ahead, like anything that's kind of covers that whole umbrella. You don't have to just tell us how to cope, but I would like to know.
Well, this is important to me because I have experienced a friend breakup with one of my bestest friends. And it's just sometimes, your relationship can end up with a sunk cost fallacy where you're so invested and you've been friends so long that you stop seeing or stop caring about the harm you're doing to each other and don't realize that you're better off without each other in each other's lives. And that's a realization, something I've had to accept recently, that
Do you mean
myself.
like, if you don't mind me asking, or just interrupting you, I guess I just had a question. The sunk cost thing, is it like you just kind of remain friends because you're like, we've been friends for so long, like we'll always be friends?
That's one example. A sunk cost fallacy is essentially like kind of like a belief you're so invested in that even when you're making mistakes or finding problems with it, you've been a part of it for so long that you don't want to abandon said belief. That would be the same in this case with a friendship. You could have a friendship where it's just horrible all the time, but you're like, well, I've been friends with them for 20 years. I can't lose that friendship.
Even
And
if it's like a bad friendship.
even if it's a bad one. And that's like, you sometimes need to learn when to cut ties. Once the balance, I shouldn't say once the balance shifts, but when it's harming you both or even one of you, if it's no longer healthy, if it's getting emotionally or physically abusive, you need to get out of that friendship. And sometimes it can be hard. I know me, like I'm still trying to accept the fact that this person and I are better off not in each other's lives. And it's difficult because this person has been a part of my life for about 17 years.
Wow. So when did you stop being friends, or is it like a current fizzling out at the moment?
It's semi-current. And it's,
sorry.
Yeah, but we're not good as friends anymore. There was a time where we were really good friends, but now it's not. And I notice we both get really irritated around each other very easily. We like get snippy way easier. We both get anxiety and anxious towards each other easier. And it's just like, it's just not healthy anymore.
Sense. Yeah, that seems like a good time to, like, when you're just not happy anymore with someone in your life. That's so hard though, because like, it's one thing to break up with a partner because it's like, well, this is kind of just from a monogamous standpoint. It's like, that's your person and you guys need to break up so you can go find other people. Like friends, like you can have, I'm strictly speaking from a monogamous like scenario. Friends you can have like a bunch of, so it's like, oh, I'll check in with this friend. I may not like them very much, but like we'll always be friends. I just don't have to invest in them as much. But full blown breaking it off is like a whole nother thing. I don't know. Well, I was actually just talking to my mom about the whole COVID and vaccine and mask situation. I'm seeing so many long-term friendships being severed over this, and like that's kind of been happening. That always happens when like things and current events and politics are really high. We just had the Trump administration, and now we're in like a global pandemic. So like, I've had to unfriend people, but like I realized that like we weren't as close anymore, and the things they were saying on Facebook were like actually genuinely so frustrating to the point where I was like, I don't see a point in like even keeping in contact with this person anymore. I've been unfriending people, and like, but I'm noticing that people who are more close to each other or even like see each other in person are like unfriending each other on Facebook over this, because like everyone's got like their very strong opinions, and like that's fine. But I'm just noticing that like a lot of friendships are ending currently, like
Right.
like widespread, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying like I disagree or agree with that. Like I think people are allowed to set their own boundaries and what have you, but it's just something I'm noticing. It's really interesting.
I used to think it was a bad thing ending a friendship over political or religious differences, but at times it can be the healthiest thing you can do. Because I know, like, when I first started on this journey, I was like, I'm never going to block people. I'm never going to unfriend people. Because, like, I do have a lot of people who disagree with me on my Facebook because I want to expose them to better information or to new information. Because I do genuinely want to change people's minds when possible and also learn as much as I can.
In a
But
perfect world, you
sometimes,
can just coexist with people with differences of opinions, and but sometimes it's just like you gotta like you realize like I'm getting angry every time I see this person's existence.
right. So and every time we talk, it's an ordeal. So
And they're
you
not
know
gonna
what?
change their mind, and I'm not gonna change mine. And I think my deal breaker, because like I don't really like to just end people and kick them out of my life and just 86 them for having a difference of opinion, but the difference is, and like people probably think this about me, and that's fine, that's they're allowed to do that, but not my red flag, my defining factor of whether or not I'm going to kick someone out based on like a difference of opinion is if I think your opinion's genuinely harmful and you're not going to change your mind. I've tried to meet people halfway and be like, this is harmful and here's why, blah blah blah. But there's some people where I'm like, they are not going to listen. They're not going to change their mind. Seeing their freaking posts is making me sick and sad. I can't do it anymore. And it's harmful stuff. It's not like,
I
oh, I don't like chocolate. And I'm like, that makes me sick. Unfriend.
I don't like chocolate.
I know you don't, but I'm not going to unfriend you over it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
thank you. No, right. There's things that are worth it and things that aren't. And that's where you just have to decide what's healthiest for you. I recently got really frustrated with a friend when we were talking politics, and her exact words were, well, I'm just not going to change my mind on this, or I'm not going to change my mind. And I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not ever going to change my mind. And that really irritated me because here I am, like, I'm always open to learning. I'm willing and have changed my position continually when I've, been pointed out that I'm wrong or mistakes I'm making. So when I hear someone admit that they're not even open to changing their mind, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you seriously, like, are you a 5-year-old? Like, you should be open to learning and changing your mind when new information becomes available. We're
Yeah, I want
adults.
to know if I'm wrong. Like, I really want to know if I'm wrong.
Yes, same. We got a super chat from Ameet Mathew. Thank you so much.
Ew.
Had to cut contact with a person whom I called my best friend of 14 years. He
Wow.
couldn't come to terms with the fact that I no longer want to insult certain communities or say certain words. I guess we both grew out of it, and that's an excellent point. Sometimes we do grow out of our childhood or teenage friendships because you're just no longer compatible. You go down these different roads, different life paths, whatever you want to call it, and have different belief systems. And sometimes it's just like, yeah, that magic we had, that friendship we had when we were younger, it's just not the same now. We're both opinionated adults. We don't get along. We don't agree. We argue. We fight. We're never getting along anymore. So, Ameet, I am sorry that happened to you, man. That sucks.
Yeah. I have a friend who I've been friends with since second grade. Shout out to my homie if you're listening. I don't know if she listens, but she does sometimes. But her and I were best friends in second grade, and she's still a really big part of my life. We are like on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to politics, religion, whatever. But I know that she has good intentions. When it comes to the things that are very important to me, we pretty much are on the same page. But yeah, that's my cutoff point is if like you're being a bigot, if you have hateful opinions, I cannot comfortably associate with you. And she's not like that. So I think that's like what has been saving the relationship from, like from an outside perspective on paper, like we seem very incompatible, but she's one of those people that like has a good heart and just kind of ended up going a different route than me. But dude, if she called me at like 3 a.m. and was like, I need you, absolutely. I adore her. Like she means well. And I don't mean that in a way that like I'm excusing any bad opinions she has. It's just she's not a fucking bigot. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much my what's it called? My breaking point? My deal breaker. Don't be a bigot. Like we can disagree. You can have a religion, but like don't be a fucking bigot.
That's another thing if you want to call in. If you have, let us know what your deal breakers are. If there are certain things that get said or opinions that are held that you're just like, you know what, I'm done. Give us a call, 951-364-2430. I let a lot slide. I'm pretty lenient in
I try
many
to
ways.
see the best in people. I
do.
I'm not picky enough with my friends.
No, I honestly, like, I always look, like, even when people do bad things, I'm like, but I can understand why they did that because, and I do try to always look for the best in people. I don't, because seeing the worst, honestly, in my opinion, makes your mental health worse.
Yeah. Well, see, like there's a difference because like my close friends, like we are very like-minded and people who I like keep in my circle. But I'm definitely more forgiving with the people like who I would show up for if they really needed me. But like I'm not trying to kick it with them every day, if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend who's religious as hell, Republican as hell, conservative as hell. But it's kind of like the same thing. Like he doesn't have those deal breaker attributes, and we have the best debates, man. And I don't want to give that up.
Best in a good way?
Yeah, like the best the best debates. Like I feel like we both genuinely like have like these like really cool food for thought moments. Because he challenges my beliefs, I challenge his, and we're like really civil about it. I still think he's fucking wrong and he thinks I'm wrong as hell, but like you know, he's cool with gay people, so
Well, speaking of which, Hannah, I keep forgetting to ask you this. We got to set up another day to have a meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Totally keep forgetting, but yeah, we got to do that.
Okay, yeah, no, we have a lot we need to just meet on in general. There's lots of things coming up that I want to tell everyone about. So I want to just kind of switch gears really quick. It's not about friendships, but can I tell a story? Did I tell you guys already how I got hit on recently?
You did not.
Okay. So like, not that like I don't ever get hit on, like, but the thing is we're in a pandemic. So like I don't really get approached because I'm not going anywhere. And if I go out, I'm usually with my partner and he's like a 6 foot scary man.
Yeah, he's tall. He's a big boy. I have to be like, up to hug him.
Yeah, me too. But I was alone and I was just going to buy glasses. I was picking up some glasses, or I was getting fitted for some, going to optometrist, and then going to Target Optical to pick out some frames. And I just want to share this because like I know we have some viewers who like aren't very comfortable approaching women. And I could tell this guy really wasn't either, but I wanted to share this and give him props for like trying, because it was really awkward. But I mean, I'm a lot nicer to people than like most, I think. So like this he might have just gotten lucky with me. Like he didn't get lucky with me, but my response was very friendly, and I gave him like a chance to like at least give me his like little spiel. And so anyway, I'm getting fitted for glasses, and this guy walks in, and I don't look at him because I'm like talking to someone, and he kind of just stood there, and I could tell he noticed me because he just had that like, I don't know, when you're a woman, you could just like tell when a guy's like, ugh, pretty woman, ugh. It's just like this energy that they give off. I don't mean that in a woo way. It's just something you get used to.
Right.
But he just says, oh, I'm looking for the optometrist, the chick who's helping me. And he's like, oh, it's over there. And he kind of like lingers for a minute and then leaves. And I'm like, okay. Not a big deal. But anyway, I left, and he like walks by me. So I guess he like went and shopped and then like saw me as I was leaving. So he like comes up with his little basket. He goes, excuse me. And I'm like, this isn't really like interesting or funny story, but like it's cute. Anyway, Sorry, I just don't want you guys waiting for like a big, like crazy.
I'm waiting for a punchline.
There's no punchline. I'm just like sharing my human experience. Okay. So anyway, I'm not selling this very well. Standing there with his little basket. He's like, excuse me. And I'm like, hi. And he's just like, he was like this, like, I'm trying to be nice, but like, he wasn't like suave. He was a little dorky, a little short. And like, so like, that's fine. But like, I'm just trying to paint the picture.
Wasn't your type.
I've dated some short, dorky guys before. It's just like it's more about personality to me, and I could just tell he was like not. I don't know. I'm also taken, but so anyway, I noticed you in there, and I really like your style, and I just really wanted to meet you. And I was like, that's so nice. Thank you. Okay, thanks for saying hi. And he's like, I'm so and so, and I introduced myself. And he goes, so, what are you doing out here? I'm like, oh, just getting some classes. What about you? And he goes, oh, I'm just buying this bread. It was so adorable. I was like, okay. And we talked for a minute, and then he was like, well, oh man, I'm realizing that I ended up being the dick in this story, but I think, well, because I lied to him, because like I felt bad. I wanted to like give him positive reinforcement for trying, but also let him know that I very much wasn't interested. And I didn't want to just straight up shut him down. So I told him I was married, and it freaked him out. He almost like turned and like ran away when I said that.
Whoa, Hannah. Why didn't you just say you're taken?
Because so that's a really good question, Ethan. When you get hit on by men and you say you have a boyfriend, sometimes that's not enough for them to leave you alone. And I didn't know this guy that well. I think he was very respectful, but oftentimes I've had guys go, well, where is he? Or like, that's fine, you're not married.
I've heard that happening.
Yeah. And so I just either say like, I don't like men, which is half true. Or well, that also hasn't worked all the time too, because then guys like think it's like kinky, and they're like, well, or they'll try to be like, well, how would you know if you haven't had dick? I'm like, okay, damn it. So when you say you're married, they typically freak out. But anyway, I try to like give him the time of day and just be like, you know, because he was like, you want to go get some coffee? And I was like, you know what, I'm actually on my way to work and I'm married. Because he was like reaching for his phone to ask for my number, and he was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, you're fine. Like, thank you for saying hi to me. It was really nice to meet you. Because like I wanted to give him positive reinforcement, because he was very respectful. He approached me in like not a creepy way. He was being very genuine. Like, I like the way you look, and I want to get to know you, is pretty much what he said. And he wasn't doing any weird pickup line tricks or anything, and he wasn't overly persistent. He was like it was a very pleasant interaction, and that's not something that always happens. But I could tell he almost seemed like he was trying to like practice, like he seemed like he didn't do this very often, you know, like he kind of was like, excuse me, and then he kind of was like, well, I saw you in there and I really liked your style and I really wanted to meet you, you know, like he was kind of almost like going through a script, like maybe he was like watching How to Talk to Women or something. And whatever source he was pulling from, good on them, because he did a great job. And that's the moral of the story, is that if you're genuine, like even if you're like awkward and not that confident, like if you're just genuine, and like it takes guts to walk up to someone, and I think like a good person like me will like appreciate that and not like shut you down. Like, how dare you like tell me that you thought I was pretty and wanted to meet me? Like, especially like, you know, when we're at this age, whatever age we are. But so that's my very boring I got hit on story, but I thought it was cute and I wanted to share, because I know we have some viewers who are like not very confident talking to, you know, someone they're interested in. I just want to say, like, don't be scared, just be respectful and genuine. And I think people will, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I'm way too fucking nice.
It is, I will say, going and talking to random people is terrifying. And here's how I'm trying to improve that, because I am awkward as fuck sometimes. You've seen me, Hannah. I can get really shy and quiet.
I know. And Ethan's very shy in person.
Very. I'll emphasize that.
Like, really. So, I asked you, like, while I was doing my makeup when we were going to go out, you were like just sitting on the couch. I was like, are you just being quiet? and this is what you're like in person, or are you not okay? And you're like, I'm just like this in person. And I was like, okay. And I didn't want to bother you about it after that.
Yeah, I sometimes I'm super friendly and outgoing. Like there's times you'll see me in the bar and I'm just like like crackhead mode, super energy all over the place. And there's other times where my social anxiety kicks in and I'm just like that. And then people think something's wrong. And I'm like, I mean, I guess technically something is wrong. Yeah, I have social anxiety, but sometimes people think I'm mad or upset. And I'm like, no, I just like, that was my first time meeting you. So the more like, even though we talk to each other each and every week, in person is very different for me. So the more I get to know you or hang out with you, the more comfortable I'll be. And like the more outgoing and goofy I'll be. But I do. So Jessica came up with actually like a really good challenge.
Why
is when we,
so much.
What was that?
I like her so much.
Me too.
This is like so good for you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, like she is. I'm very happy with her, and I'm very fucking lucky. Like super fucking lucky.
Okay.
I am. And like we had anyways, that's the challenge. Whenever we go out together, I have to try talking to at least 2 new people. So I have to go approach someone. Like if we're at the bar, I have to go talk to a girl or go talk to a guy and like just make conversation because she's so good at, we'll go out and she's like dragging me and she's talking to everybody. And I'm just like, just dead silent. Like, yep, cool. Yeah. Weather's nice. So I like this. I think 2's a good number and I'm working on doing it. Like even when I'm walking down the street, I'm trying to say hi to more people. I'm trying very hard to start like practice and working out this muscle is the best way to describe it of getting to talk to, other people.
That might be a really good piece of advice because I actually do experience social anxiety too, but I'm also like a very, I don't know, I like people. I do. Like when sometimes I'll just get the urge to be like, hello, as I'm walking by someone, but right before I do it, I'm like, ah! But it's really fun when they say it back. And sometimes they're like surprised, like, oh, you said hello to me, stranger. Maybe if you have social anxiety, don't like stop and talk to people. But if you pass someone, just go hello and see if they respond.
That's what I started doing. Hey, how's it going? And just keep walking.
Yeah, if like you cross paths with someone, just hello and keep walking. And like it might be like a cool little way to challenge yourself to just get comfortable, like acknowledging a stranger and having them acknowledge you back, because like that can be fucking scary.
Here's the other side to that. Sometimes doing that can make someone's day. Like just smiling and saying hi, like makes them feel noticed. So do it. Give it a shot. Challenge yourself to one person every, if 2's too much, one person, or start with, like Hannah said, when you're walking down the street, just say hi, smile, nod at the person,
And you can like keep on walking while you're doing it too. You don't have to stop and be like,
right.
Because then it's like, now what are we going to do? It's like literally like walk, hi, walk.
Right.
Walk.
Like, hey, how's it going? And just keep going. Not like,
And they might not hear you. They might not respond. They might think you're fucking weird. But like, it feels good when someone says hi back. Like
it does.
Yeah.
Especially when they smile. It's like, oh, like when I get a smile from someone, I'm like, sweet, they smiled.
It feels good. We're social beings. It's just like,
it does. We are. Not all of us, but most of us are.
Yeah. As generally speaking. So friends, do you want to hear my breakup story?
I do. And then after that, we'll get to our caller.
We have a call. I do that every fucking time. I get so, like it's a genuine reaction, and I'm annoyed with myself for doing that. We can take the caller
really
now.
Excited.
We can take it now. I can tell the story after. It's kind of long.
All right. Well, they're still in the screening room, but I know who this person is, so I'm secular Rarity. I'm taking them out of the screening room. IQ, you are on with Ethan and Hannah. How are you?
Well, that was snappy, wasn't it?
How's it going?
I was on hold for less than 45 minutes. This is a good day.
All right.
What do you got for us?
Social anxiety or friendship?
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
I was talking over him. What did he say? I'm sorry.
He said, crap, I forgot what he said. He said, Ethan, you're awesome.
Not me.
Well, everyone knows this.
Oh, you just froze. Hannah's awesome too.
when it comes to friendships, or
Can you
any
talk a little
relationship,
louder?
by that matter. Hold on. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes,
Much better.
Much better.
All right. Any relationship whatsoever involves compatibility and communication, right? And when people change, and they do, if you think they can't, you're full of, you know. When people change over time, and we are products of our environment, correct? And when our environments change, our perspective changes. That changes us. And then when people drift apart, that sets the ball rolling for incompatibility.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter what type of relationship it is, whether it be platonic or romantic. When that compatibility disappears, so does the relationship.
Right.
Your friends. It's all about your communication. Who are you
Communication is
talking to?
important.
How are you speaking with them? You know, how are you speaking with them? What are you bringing up? What do you guys laugh about? What do you cry about? If you don't cry about shit, you need to talk to them a little fucking more. Seriously. You have the relationships that you have in your life because of the positive experiences that you share with these people. If you cut off those positive experiences, you have just murdered the relationship. Keep the positive vibes going. Communicate, talk. Put things out on the table. If there's a problem, just talk about it. That's all it takes. Just bring it up. If things aren't supposed to be, if things are just too out of whack to where it cannot be reconciled, you're going to figure that out. And you're going to come to a conclusion reasonably and civilly, instead of all this behind the back stuff, all the conniving mystery stuff that happens in the background of all of our brains and social experiences. Communication kills that.
Yeah.
So if you have people in your life that mean something to you, show them. Appreciation is shown, not spoken.
Appreciation is important. But yeah, that was one of the things I was actually talking about earlier is, this person the one I'm having a falling out with, they will constantly say like, Ethan's my best friend, or, and it's like, okay, you're saying that, but your actions in our friendship don't line up with those words.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
I'm your best friend, as you claim, then there needs to be some changes to improve that. And again, just, I don't know.
You already know, man. If you use the phrase "as you claim" when you're talking about best friends, you've already taken a wrong turn, or you're not paying attention. Your best friend, there's no question about it. This is a ride or die person in your life.
Right.
They've always been there. People mess up.
Mhm.
That happens. But this is a person that there is no question about it. That best friend in your life. Now, guaranteed, if you don't have many friends at all, your best friend could be the bus driver on your way to work, But if there's communication happening there, if this person serves purpose in your life and they're a means of outlet and you're just letting things out and just communication, that's a good friend. Doesn't matter if they come over for dinner, it's scale.
Right.
But you lose people in your life because you stopped sharing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said you sound like Hugh Laurie, aka Dr. House.
Wow. Okay. I was just thinking IQ needs to do an audiobook or something.
Let's try this. IQ, I need you to say something for me. Can you do that?
Okay, go ahead.
So I want you to say, "You're an idiot."
You're an idiot.
No, say it more firmly, more aggressively.
You're an idiot.
Okay, I could see the house right there.
No, you have like the same register as him. No,
Yes.
All I have to say is that it's never lupus.
It's never.
No, that's like, man, every time IQ calls it, I'm always just kind of like, I feel so soothed and like, I don't know.
His voice is very soothing.
Very soothing. And then you have such profound things to say.
I'm not even using my ASMR voice right now.
Do you have one of those?
Well, trust me. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I need to hydrate real quick.
Not to like discount everything you were just saying. Anytime IQ calls in, I'm always just kind of like, wow, that's so true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has a lot to offer, that's for sure.
What?
You'd be absolutely amazed.
He has a
when I
lot
get
to
up in your
offer.
ear.
Oh, sorry, IQ, go ahead.
Okay,
Show us
talk
your
about
ASMR.
About some of the things that I can talk about, some of the things that I can bring up and mention and describe to you.
Whoa.
You absolutely
Hannah's getting excited.
You can make some money doing that, homie.
No respect for you, brother.
Woo!
Well,
Hannah's a little excited.
I'm betrothed. I'm married, remember?
I can't even see. I'm not even watching the stream right now. I'm just kind of on the phone talking to you guys, so I can't see it. But I will watch it on a replay because I'm sure that is just a delightful face she's making.
I'm thrilled. I am thrilled, and thank you for sharing that. And thank you for
I
sharing.
wish I had a cool ASMR voice.
Oh, that was the PG version of my ASMR voice.
I was going to say, I bet there's an NC-17.
Y'all didn't know IQ was a freak, did you?
That's a money maker, man.
I totally just burped in the microphone, and I apologize. Did not mean to. The wings I had eaten earlier just kind of burped up a little bit. So apologies. I never like to subject people to that on the microphone.
I'm just showing off my.
And that's awesome of you, Ethan. Seriously, because some of the crap that we deal with people, some of the things that people allow themselves to spill forth their lips. You apologize for.
Well, I want to have a professional podcast.
You're in good shape, brother. You're in good shape.
Why did you ask me to come on this show if you wanted a professional podcast?
Because you're like the female me in so many ways. And like, you're professional.
Hold on a second.
What?
Yeah, Hannah, damn it. You're freaking amazing.
She is.
I was joking.
You're an absolute sweetheart.
Aww.
You do have and possess and exuberate brilliance on several occasions.
Agreed.
You light up the room everywhere you can go. Don't give me that. Why did you pick me on as a host if you wanted professionalism? Ethan's version of professionalism is real people.
Yes.
Real attitude.
Yes.
And love.
Yes.
Somebody who cares. You are professional all day when it comes to that. Don't shake yourself short.
You're the nicest person on the fucking planet. I want IQ to adopt me.
I'm just calling it like I see it. If you were a crappy person, well, we've all heard it before. I don't know how many people saw that episode when I had the conversation with the Catholic traditionalist, but if you deserve that kind of respect from me, you get that kind of respect from me. And respect isn't always pleasant. You get what you pay for, and you bleed brilliance.
Aww.
Nice. Ah, God, you just made my fucking day. Thank you for saying that.
They're just words.
No one calls me brilliant.
They're just words. Pay attention. Pay attention to your day. Pay attention to some of the days other people have around you. And make a little comparison about how happy you are with your actions at the end of the day and tell me that I'm wrong.
By the way, Hannah, we're getting real close to our 50th episode.
What?
So we're almost there. Yeah, we're getting there. So pretty soon, pretty soon we will be celebrating 50 episodes of the Pickup Line, which I can't wait for.
IQ, you just made my day.
Awesome.
If there's anything,
thank you, IQ.
Much obliged, man. Much obliged.
IQ, we appreciate you.
You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you later.
It's always awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, all right, man. Always a pleasure. See you.
Bye. Well, we know Hannah's cheesing now. You're so happy.
It just feels really good to be appreciated.
Whenever I heard the word appreciate, I think of Kenneth Leonard. and the time he called into table for two, because we needed him, instead of like, he needed to use another word for oral, because this is when I was still learning YouTube and trying to figure out what, and he used, instead of, when he was talking about receiving oral, he actually used the term appreciate. He asked the girl to appreciate him. So
I like to be appreciated in that way too, but
never mind.
I love it. I love getting appreciated.
No, I was going to say I love appreciating.
Oh, ladies.
Okay, let's be real. How can you not enjoy like making your partner feel really, really good? Like,
well,
I don't know. For me, that's a big thing. Like, I did date one girl who would like, oh shit, I gotta be careful. How is that? I don't know. Do I need to be careful?
Maybe you need to troubleshoot this with me first.
Wait, what?
Like maybe if this is something you're like, should I be careful about this?
Well, okay.
And I don't know how to advise you on air in the moment,
because that's true. Well, let's just say I always want to make sure I'm dating a partner who likes to receive, because I could not date a partner who doesn't like to receive, because it's something I genuinely really enjoy doing.
So
and
real talk, I actually am very hot and cold about that because I have trauma associated with it. So
that's
more oftentimes than not, I'm not interested. Every once in a while, I'm like, green light, that's amazing. But yeah, I it's not something I really request or allow that often. So
understandable.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because like everyone would assume that. I just want to put that out there and normalize that, because I think a lot of people assume that everyone likes getting head, like receiving it, and not everyone does. But like, I'm not trying to like shit on you for like wanting to.
Oh, I didn't take it like that at all.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure. I feel like if I have an opportunity to share that kind of thing, I would like to, because it's like, it is kind of an area of shame for me where like I feel like I should be more like enthusiastic about receiving, but I'm trying to be more like open and accepting of the fact that like it's just not for me all the time. I've thought about, I think I need to go to a sex therapist and sort that out, because I think I'm missing out on a lot of fun. But as of this moment, and as of like my whole, active life, it's not something I really, really look forward to.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Thanks.
It sucks that you have whatever happened to you happened, and I'm sorry. But yeah,
not your fault. So can I tell my story about that? My other traumatizing fucking story? About how I was dumped by a best friend? Okay, because that's what the podcast is about. So let's see. Where do I start? It is kind of a long story, and it's a very sad one. So buckle up, folks. Get your tissues ready.
Buckling up.
Nah, it's not that bad, but I do want to share it because it's like something I actually just I just kind of, I talked about it like the other day on Facebook on on a post. They were like, "Do you ever get dumped by a friend?" And so I need to let that girl know, hey, you inspired this episode. So I had a friend who lived 2 doors down from me, a male friend, 2 doors down from me. And we knew each other since kindergarten, and we were always friends. We played like kickball together growing up, but in high school we became best friends, like just ride or die best friends, hung out all the time, like helped each other through some like really heavy shit, relationships. Like we were there for like it all of like the crazy stuff that you go through when you're a freaking teenager. And we stayed friends a little bit after graduation. And he picks me up one day. We hang out. Everything's fine. And then I think we kind of had a little bit of a spat leading up to that, actually. Like I was going through a lot. I was with a partner who had been like cheating on me a lot. So I became a little bit withdrawn, and I wasn't making a lot of time for friends. And I bailed on him a couple times. I had to like cancel and reschedule things. And I just like told him like, hey, listen, I'm going through a lot and I'm really sorry. I didn't think it would upset him that much. But I think this is what kind of triggered him to decide to not want to be friends with me anymore. He picks me up, we hang out, he drops me off in front of my house, and he says, before you go, I just want you to know that this is going to be the last time we're going to hang out. And I'm like, what? Like, what? You were my best friend. And he says, yeah, I'm just realizing, you know, when you were bailing on me a lot, I'm realizing this more. I realize I'm a little bit too dependent on you, and our friendship has been a lie. I am attracted to you, and I have been this whole time, and I cannot move forward with you in my life. So I'm never going to see you again. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, I understand. Thank you for telling me. Bye. And I went inside and I bawled my fucking eyes out. I was absolutely crushed, absolutely heartbroken. And it was weird because he literally lived 2 doors down from me. And so it was like, I would like avoid driving like in front of his house. Like I would like take another way because it hurt so fucking bad. I was embarrassed. I felt abandoned. I felt confused. I felt blindsided. And thinking about it, I thought it makes sense. The friendship is no longer serving him. It is actually holding him back from what he wants. And he decided he needed to break things off. But to say to me, our friendship has been a lie and I never want to see you again. I just like, it feels like a punch in the gut to this day. Fuck him, whatever. But so the kicker, like the cherry on top of this all, we always joked when we were best friends that I would be the best man in his wedding. And like, I always kind of assumed that there was some seriousness to this because we were that close. And he just got married recently and I was not even invited. Ta-da! That's my fucking horrific story. Am I overreacting or is that horrific?
No, I mean, it's not horrific, but it sucks.
It felt horrific.
And I'm sorry you went through that.
No, it's okay. Like I don't cry about it anymore. I did accidentally text him the other day because he has the same name as someone who's also like close to me now. And I was like, blah, 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 this, and like asked a question. And then I was just like, oh shit, wrong person. He didn't respond. Yeah. So I just want to say, if you have a friend who you no longer want to be friends with, it's okay. I don't hate him for doing that. I am hurt. I understand why he did it. I don't necessarily agree with his reasoning. Like the part of me wants to be like, okay, you like my ass, get over it. Like, is it really worth like losing me as it made me feel really like it kind of reduced me down to like I felt objectified in a way. Like I was like, okay, because you fucking think I'm hot, like you don't even like appreciate me enough as a person to want me to be anywhere in your life at all. Like you never want to see me again. Like, am I that awful? Like you just kept me around because you wanted to fuck me, basically, or that's what it felt like. So that's what I am mad about. But I'm not mad at him for doing the thing that he thought was right for him and moving on, because now he's married. Good for him. And he couldn't move on with me in his life. I get that, but it did feel really shitty.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah. IQ said, ain't that it's because you joked about it. I don't get the joke. You're gonna have to explain that to me later. So
well, you can explain it in the after show on Discord.
That's true. I think
that's where we're going next.
I think we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for hanging out for this kind of like just chit chat kind of episode. IQ, thanks for calling. Ameet, thank you for the super chat. Everyone who tuned in, thank you. Secular Rarity, as always, for screening. And the patrons, I don't have the list, but if you want to take it away, Ethan.
Yes, thank you to our top tier patrons: Cindy PLAZA, Kenneth Leonard, Skye, JumpandShoot, Oz, Secular Rarity, Philip Leitch, Kaitlyn Beyond, Toast, Richard Gilliver, Sunset Sarge, The Blazing Wizard Pope, Ameet Mathew, Chianti and Fava Beans, Ray Sylvester, and Kyle Brewer. Thank you so much for your patronage. Hannah, it's been a pleasure, and I guess we'll be back next Thursday where we're going to talk about kinks.
Again, we're going to talk about kinks, but we're going to get a little bit more detailed and reveal maybe some of ours.
We're going to find out what our kinks are. So
and
I'm
you can
excited.
find out yours too next
Yes.
week on the pickup line.
Good night, everyone.